What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I just want to do my quick keys to victory for today's game against the LA Chargers. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate you guys continuing to tune into the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for continuing to share out my content. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So like I was stating, I want to give you guys my keys to victory for today's game against the LA Chargers. The Falcons are in LA today, and we will take on the Chargers at 4:25 Eastern time. I believe this is our first 4:25 game of the season. It seemed like we've had all 1 o'clock games and we had like one Thursday night game. So this is going to be our first evening game of the season. So we're out west for the first time this season as well. So we're going to see how our team goes out there and responds. But first, I want to talk about the injuries and players that's not going to play in today's game. And then I'm going to jump right into my keys to victory. So first, Julio Jones, a star wide receiver for Atlanta Falcons, will not play today due to the hamstring injury he's been battling all season, which could be huge for our team. Also, Caleb McGarry, he had some type of, something personal that is going on with Caleb McGarry. I don't know exactly what it is because the team said he's not going to play due to personal reasons. They did disclose what actually happened. So prayers up definitely for Caleb McGarry, whatever he's going through or whatever's going on off the field. I hope that, it gets rectified, and I hope that all is well with him and his family. But he will not play today as well at that right tackle position. And also, Ricardo Allen, free safety for Atlanta Falcons, is out with the concussion. He actually had a concussion last week, so he's still in concussion protocol. So he's another player that's not going to actually play today. So we have a lot of key injuries in this game, a lot of top name players that's not going to be out there. Todd Gurley is actually going to play today. This will be his first time playing in LA since he was released last offseason by the LA Rams. And if you don't know, the LA Rams and the LA Chargers play in the same stadium, SoFi Stadium. So this will be his first time actually playing in the new stadium that the Rams built last offseason. So I'm expecting big things from Todd Gurley being back out west, kind of in familiar territory where he used to play with the LA Rams. He's back out west in California. So hopefully he can have a vintage Todd Gurley type game today. I am expecting him to, be ready to play. And I am expecting him to have a big game today. I also want to just jump right into my keys to victory for the Atlanta Falcons defeating the Chargers today. So my first key to victory is going to be controlling the offensive line, controlling the defensive line of the LA Chargers. The Chargers do have Joey Bosa, and he is one of those guys that is very disruptive. I always get him and his brother mixed up, Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa, the one that plays for the 49ers. So if I mix their names up, I believe it's Joey Bosa that is the one that actually plays for the Chargers. But both of those guys are very good pass rushers. Both played at Ohio State in college, and both of those guys have really dominated since they've been in the league. So we definitely going to have our hands full without Caleb McGarry playing that right tackle position. Bosa lining up in front of either Matt Gono or John Wetzel. They haven't said which guy's going to play. I really believe it's going to be Matt Gono. And we're going to see how it pans out. Personally, I think they should play Matt Gono. He's shown, I think it was early in the season that he actually played in one of the games when Matt Gono actually got in. He pretty much showed that he's a pretty good offensive lineman. So I do think that Matt Gono, if he plays, he can hold his own against Bosa. But Bosa is one of the better pass rushers in the game. He did get a huge extension from the LA Chargers before this season started. During the training camp, he did get the bag. He got a huge contract. So Joey Bosa is one of those guys that definitely can get after the passer And that's going to definitely be one of my keys to victory, or my first key to victory is whoever's lining up over him at right tackle, they're going to need help. Whoever's, the running back and the fullbacks and tight ends, chip this guy on your way out for a pass. Chip this guy and, give whoever the right tackle is help, because Bosa is one of those guys that even if Caleb McGarry was playing, I think, you would still need to chip him. He's one of those guys that could be a game wrecker. My second key to victory in this game is Russell Gage. I think Russell Gage is the key to this game, actually. I do think that Russell Gage is going to have a big game. I actually have Russell Gage in my fantasy league, and he's done pretty well this season. But if you look at last game against the Saints, Matt Ryan looked Russell Gage way a number of times in crucial possessions. He had a nice touchdown. Matt Ryan looks for him on third down, kind of like a Mohamed Sanu, because he's a guy that plays the slot a lot, and he's a guy that runs great routes. So I'm expecting, with Julio Jones not playing in this game and with Calvin Ridley being the number one wide receiver for this game, I'm expecting the Chargers to double team Calvin Ridley. They're not going to allow Calvin Ridley to be the guy that dominates them in this game. I do think that Calvin Ridley is going to have a decent game as well and could easily have over 100 yards, because I do think that Matt Ryan's going to target him a lot in this game. But if he's double teamed consistently or bracket covered, in bracket coverage, I expect the next guy up to be Russell Gage, that can beat man-to-man coverage consistently, especially with the plays that Dirk Cutter calls. For whatever reason, he decides this year that he's not going to be creative in his play calling. He's going to do all these long, drawn-out plays, and he's not going to draw up plays for Hayden Hurst, who really should be the X factor, because Hayden Hurst in a lot of these games this year, I feel like if we would have featured Hayden Hurst more this season, I do believe he could have been one of the guys that could have been a Pro Bowler this year. But for whatever reason, Dirk Cutter hasn't used Hayden Hurst to the best of his ability. He hasn't put Hayden Hurst in the best positions to succeed. I do think Hayden Hurst is one of those guys that we should be able to use him, like on post routes, on seam routes. He has the speed. Even line him up outside and let him go one-on-one with a corner, because no corner or no corner, linebacker or safety really can cover him man-to-man, because he's fast. If you put a corner on him, he's too physical and too big, but he can just box the corner out. If you put a linebacker on him, they're not fast enough to keep up with him. And if you put a safety on him, 9 times out of 10, they're not as athletic. They're not big enough, or they're not quick enough to keep up with a Hayden Hurst. But for whatever reason, Dirk Cutter just hasn't, learned how to use Hayden Hurst. So my X factor in this game is going to be Russell Gage. I could easily see Russell Gage having 2 touchdowns in this game, especially in the red zone. He's one of those guys that, like I said, he's on the inside. He does a lot of those inside routes, in and out routes, a lot of option routes. And I really think that he could be a guy that could have a huge game today, or even have over 100 yards receiving today, especially, if Dirk Cutter opens up the offense. I really think that Russell Gage could be one of those guys that could really go off today. My third key to victory is going to be the Falcons playing no huddle offense. I think they need to let Matt Ryan go up tempo, let him play the no huddle. We've seen every time this season that Matt Ryan has went up tempo, he's balled out. When you allow Matt Ryan to just read and react, don't allow the defense to bring in those exotic blitz packages and sub guys in and out, you can tire out a defensive line if you continue to go hurry up tempo. And the Rams showed that a little bit in their game against the New England Patriots. They did a lot of up tempo on Thursday night. If you watch the Thursday night football game between the Rams and Patriots, the Rams and Sean McVay, they went up tempo a lot with Jared Goff. They didn't allow Bill Belichick to use a lot of the defensive schemes that he likes to run. They didn't allow him to sub in, special packages and stuff like that and exotic blitzes. And I think that's very important in this game, because Anthony Lynn, I believe it's his name, the head coach for the Chargers, they like to, get exotic, with their blitzes and things of that nature, and with their, they like to play aggressive with their defense in that front seven. So we definitely have to be careful in this game. They have a lot of good players on that defense. Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma, the middle linebacker, he's a really good linebacker. He's going to be a Pro Bowler, and he's going to play in this league for a very long time, barring injury. I do think that Kenneth Murray was one of the best linebackers in the draft, and he was one of those guys in the draft that I actually was looking at for the Atlanta Falcons, even though it looks like Foye Oluokun has panned out. None of us knew that Foye Oluokun, was going to look this good. So Kenneth Murray is one of those guys you want to watch in this game, number 56 for the Chargers. He's a very physical linebacker, but he can do it all. He can cover, he can come up and thump and tackle. So he's a guy in this game that we're going to have to definitely look out for because he's a playmaker, kind of like a Deion Jones and a Foye Oluokun. Another guy that they have in that secondary, Casey Hayward. He used to play with the Green Bay Packers. He's a very good corner. He doesn't get a lot of, press clippings and things of that nature, ESPN, and he doesn't get a lot of the ratings. He doesn't get talked about with the Richard Shermans and the Patrick Petersons and the guys in the league that get all the credit on the outside, the Jalen Ramseys. He doesn't get that credit, but he's not far behind those guys. He's like in that second tier of corner, and he's one of the better corners in the game. Also, they have the one guy that played with the Denver Broncos. I forget his name now. I think it's Charles Harris, if I'm not mistaken. He was a guy that played cornerback for the Denver Broncos for all of those years when they had him and Aqib Talib. I'm not too sure if Harris is playing in this game. I'm sorry, his name is not Charles Harris. His name is Chris Harris, excuse me. Yeah, Chris Harris, the defensive back that was a longtime Pro Bowler with the Denver Broncos. He actually is a part of the LA Chargers team now. So they have a good tandem at corner. I'm not too sure if he's playing, if he's going to play in the game today. But if he plays, he's another guy that's a playmaker. So Matt Ryan has to definitely be careful with the risk that he takes with the football. But like I was saying, my third key to victory, I will I would go up tempo and let Matt Ryan just read and react, put the defense on their heels, because that's when it seems like the Falcons are at their best on offense, is when they're allowing Matt Ryan, to call the plays at the line, allow him to, read and react and just get the ball out quick. Don't allow the defense to pin their ears back and get after our offensive line. And my fourth key to victory, and I say it every week, is run the football. If we run the football in this game, we should definitely win this game. If we run the ball at least 30 times, I showed you guys the stat. I talked about it previously on my channel. When the Falcons attempt 30 rushes or more in a game this year, we're 4-0. And that's pretty much every single game we've won this year. We have attempted 30 runs. And when you run the ball, it creates so much. It opens up so much for your offense when you can run the ball. It opens up the play action pass. It opens up deep shots down the field. And you also are able to control the clock, control the time of possession, keep your defense on the sideline where they're not playing a bunch of snaps. And it allows you to continue to keep their offense off the field, because Justin Herbert, the young quarterback for the LA Chargers, is a guy that I really think is going to be a star in this league. He actually is the guy that I thought in the draft that was going to be the best quarterback out of this last draft class. I think he's better than Joe Burrow out of LSU. I really think that Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are the two best quarterbacks that came out of this past year's draft. But personally, I came out with the bold prediction that I think Justin Herbert is going to be at the end of the day, once their careers are all said and done, I really think that Justin Herbert is going to have the better career out of him and Joe Burrow. I just like what Justin Herbert can do as far as his accuracy, the way that he throws the football down the field. He's a very smart quarterback, and he's also can run. He's a very athletic quarterback. He's sneaky athletic. At Oregon, they really didn't open it up a whole lot for him until his senior season. But in his senior year, he really showed that he was a special quarterback. And he had that ability where he could throw the ball, all over the field. And he has the ability also to run, which is a part of the new NFL. Having a quarterback that can be multifaceted is a huge part of the current NFL. If you look at a lot of these teams and a lot of these offenses, they're going towards a college style, more college style, open offense, spread offense. And that's something that Justin Herbert excels at. But with that being said, I just have one more key to victory, which is my fifth key to victory. And the fifth key to victory is, of course, the defense causing turnovers. If the defense can get some turnovers in this game, that's also going to be key. Maybe a strip sack fumble on Justin Herbert or interception. I could easily see Justin Herbert throwing a couple interceptions in this game because he is a guy that will put the ball in harm's way. As much as I just talked about him being possibly the best quarterback that came out of last year's draft, he is a guy that will put the ball in harm's way because he's confident in his arm. He's confident that he can fit balls, and he takes chances, sometimes unnecessary chances, kind of like a Jameis Winston type, where he's kind of a gunslinger and he will take risks. And that's just also a part of being a young quarterback, is when you're a young quarterback, you're going to make mistakes. You haven't seen every defense. You haven't seen all of the defensive schemes and all of the exotic things that, defensive coordinators in the league try to confuse you with. So, even like a quarterback like a Peyton Manning, when he first came in, he struggled with the same type of things. If you go look up Peyton Manning's first year in the league as a rookie, he threw a ton of interceptions as well. So I could easily see in this game AJ Terrell having an interception. He got really close last week to having an interception against Taysom Hill. He just dropped it. So I really think in this game that Justin Herbert is going to trust his receivers like Keenan Allen on the outside, like Mike Williams, and he's going to give those guys chances to make plays on 50-50 balls, and that's going to give our guys a chance to come up with an interception. So if we come down with an interception or two in this game, force a fumble, Jacob Toy-Mariner, Steven Means, Marlon Davison, Grady Jarrett, all of those guys, Dante Fowler, this is y'all game to shine. Y'all really should be able to get after the Chargers. I don't believe the Chargers have a great offensive line, so we should be able to pin our ears back. If we can get out to a lead in this game, I really think that we can force the Chargers into some turnovers, because they're a team just like the Falcons that like to throw the ball around the yard. They don't like to run the football. So if they come out in that spread trying to throw the ball all around the field, if we can create pressure, that's going to be key. And I will place some man coverage, some zone coverage. I would try to confuse the kid, throw some different wrinkles at him. And, our secondary, for the most part, since Dan Quinn has left over the last half of this season, has played really well. You haven't heard Isaiah Oliver's name in a negative way in a bunch of weeks now. AJ Terrell has really came on. He did a good job last week of shadowing Mike Thomas. Even though Mike Thomas had a pretty good game, AJ Terrell was pretty much, in his hip pocket the whole game. He just made some tough catches, and that's what great players do. And the same thing in this game. I don't think that he's going to get the better of Keenan Allen, because Keenan Allen is one of the better wide receivers in the game too. One of the better route runners, has great hands and runs great routes as well. So AJ Terrell's going to definitely have his hands full. But I do think that the secondary has really come on really well. Keanu Neal is playing at a high level. But I forgot to talk about Rico Allen being missing on that back end. Could be trouble, could spell trouble for our team, because I'm not a huge fan of Sherrod Niesman. I don't think that he's a player that's, he's a below average safety to me. Personally, in this game, I would like to see some Isaiah Oliver at safety. You've heard Matt Mike talk about Isaiah Oliver being one of those guys that he thinks could possibly play the safety position. You've heard Jeff Ulbrich and Raheem Morris say that he has some traits where they think that he could possibly play some free safety or strong safety. Personally, I would like to see them throw him out there. I mean, what's the worst that can happen at this point? We're 4-8. See what you have. I would definitely throw Isaiah Oliver out there and see what he can do at that free safety spot on certain downs, on third and longs and stuff like that. Also, I would see if we could mix it up a little bit and throw Jalen Hawkins in there. He's a guy early in the season that we drafted last season out of Cal. He played in a couple games early in the season in Green Bay. When we played Green Bay, he actually got in the game. And he made some plays, but then he went down with a concussion, and he was out for a number of weeks. But now I believe he's back. He's playing mainly special teams, but I think it's time to actually give him a go, too. I'll play him. We need to see what we have in these young guys. So I definitely would throw either Isaiah Oliver back there at that safety position at times, or even throw Jalen Hawkins back there at that free safety with Keanu Neal, and see what those guys can do. Mix it up back there, because we all know that Sherrod Niesman is just a rotational guy. He's really like a third string, safety. Mainly we use him as a special teamer. He's just mainly a special teams player. But with that being said, this been your boy Jew. You guys let me know what you think about the video. Who do you think wins this game? I think the Falcons win this game today by a score of, I'll say 27-20. I'll say the Falcons win this game 27-20. win by 7. But it could come down to the fourth quarter because I think this is going to be a barn burner. Both teams like to stretch it out and throw the ball down the field. Neither offensive coordinator likes to run the ball, so it could easily be a high-scoring game. A ton of yards put up between both quarterbacks. But this been your boy Jew. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. You guys tune in tonight. AFN, Atlanta Falcons Nation, Do Talk Sports, Mad Mike Sports. We will be streaming on our channel, our post-game show. So you guys definitely tune in tonight. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well on Atlanta Falcons Nation. They're on their way to 1,000 subscribers as well. They're on their quest to 1,000, as well as hit that like button, subscribe button here at Jew Talk Sports. As always, this been your boy Jew. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. And as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, peace up, A-Town down. All right, I'll holler at you guys. Peace.